So good morning. So today I'd like to talk about the idea of points of view or knowing. So to begin with, let me you know just mention a way of seeing things as being either skillful or unskillful. When it's said something is skillful, that means that it makes a contribution to spiritual progress, and unskillful, it doesn't. Uh, so just making that point. So today we're going to talk about knowing. I guess the general philosophical area is called epistemology, knowing. So the Buddha in the Buddha Sutras makes the you know makes the point that attachment to a point of view is unskillful. So let's explore how it is we know what we know, and explore the idea of truth, and the idea that that we take positions that we claim or become attached to or cling to, and those positions can be held very passionately. So we can have a political position or a philosophical or religious position that we're very attached to, and that attachment results in, whenever we find that point of view being contested, the bringing up of very strong emotions. So let's look at knowing. How do you know? How do you know that something? Well, we'll use the word true, even though it's probably it got to be small t true. How do you know something is small t true? What are the methods generally recommended for that? So in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there's some references to the ways that people determine what's small t true. Uh, the first one, and probably the one that's strongest, is direct experience. So when we're talking about direct experience, we're talking about something that arrives to us through the five sense gates. We see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, so on. And so what we're talking about is we know something's true because we receive information, sensation, and of course, what do we do with that information that we receive? Well, the first thing we do is interpret it. So when we interpret something, then we're using our own background experience in order to determine whether or not, or to make sense of this sensation. So let's think about this idea of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, feeling, all those kinds of things, and what that allows us to know. So you could imagine that you're looking through a telescope at the night sky, and the telescope circumscribes a part of space because you're looking through a cylindrical tube, and when you're looking through that tube, you can only see the part of space that is uh, inside of the circle of the tube. Now imagine that you believed that that was the whole kit and caboodle, that was the whole deal. You were seeing everything. Of course, that wouldn't be true, because outside of the circle of that tube, there would be the entire rest of the universe. So your interpretation of the information coming through the tube would be that you're seeing the truth, small t truth, and from that you draw conclusions, and you make decisions, and you take actions. So direct experience. Uh, Although according to the Patanjali, that's the strongest way that we know. The next way that we know is inference. So if we're thinking of direct experience, we're looking at a fire and we can see smoke curling up from the fire. Okay, so suppose we're on the other side of a hill and we see smoke curling up from the other side of the hill. Using background experience, memory, we can infer that where there's smoke, there's fire. That's what our background experience tells us. So we're going to interpret what we're seeing and determine that what's going on the other side of the hill is fire. Now, if we walk up to the top of the hill and look down, we may discover, of course, that we're wrong, that there's actually a steam engine producing clouds of vapor, and there is no fire to be seen. So inference would be weaker than direct experience. Both of them, though, have serious flaws. The third possibility is the teachings, the information that we receive from trusted teachers, credible teachers, people who in other words, secondhand information from a first-hand source. That could be the teachings that we receive from the Yoga Sutras or the Buddha Sutras, or from somebody who in our life who acts as a teacher or a guru. The only problem with that is we're receiving secondhand information from somebody, and first of all, whether that information is credible or not is is an issue. But whatever that information is, it's from the side of the person who's interpreting it, and that experience may not comport to our own personal experience. So that would be the weakest of the three. And when it comes to teachings, the Buddha talks about the fact that first, a teaching, from a credible teacher, somebody who we have determined to be wise, should also comport to common sense. In other words, if this person is saying something that doesn't fit with our own everyday experience, is sort of far out, I guess you would say, we should probably question it. Also, we should look at that information that we're receiving from this trusted teacher. We should compare that to the teachings of other trusted teachers. Does it fit with those other trusted teachers? Does it have any kind of coherence with the way that the community sees this? If not, then probably we should question it. But if you think of all the things that I've just said, that what we know is an interpretation, and we know it from our side, but that doesn't mean that from the other side, for instance, from the side outside of the circumference of the telescope, is the same as what we're interpreting it to be from our side. So the problem that I'm actually posing is knowing is not really it can only be thought of as small t true. It's always open to being questioned. It's always something that we should approach with doubt. So some teachers talk about the idea of not knowing as something to be focused on and thought about as an object of meditation. For instance, not knowing, in some Zen teachers' approach to this, they talk about the idea of a innocence or a beginner's mind, or having no previous points of view about whatever it is that we're focusing on. Starting out as a beginner And doing that all the time in every situation that we face. Not coming to situations already full, already having an opinion or a point of view or something that we're attached to. Trying to let go of that and instead, coming to situations not knowing. One Zen teacher talks about keeping that not knowing mind. Another Zen teacher talks about a beginner's mind, coming to every situation innocent and being open to whatever it is that you find there. So sometimes I think of us facing the world as if we're a room, and the room is filled with furniture, and the room, has all the furniture in the places that you would expect to find the furniture. And in order for us to be clear and open and spacious, we have to begin to remove the furniture from the room one piece at a time, letting go of the couch, letting go of the lamp, letting go of the rug, and emptying the room out until the room is clear and spacious and open, and you're unencumbered by background information. Coming to the room open and available, accessible, as opposed to coming to the room filled with background information. So let's do a little bit of a meditation here on that as an idea. The meditation is on not knowing. Sometimes this kind of meditation is also referred to as a meditation on emptiness, a common theme in Buddhist meditation, or a meditation on openness, or a meditation on empty mind. So let's think. Coming to this meditation innocent, like a beginner, trying to let go of our points of view. How can we accomplish that in meditation? First, let's just settle in, beginning to let the breath breathe us, knowing that we breathe in, we're breathing in. When we breathe out, we're breathing out. Just anchoring ourselves on the breath, letting the waves of breath sweep, pass through us, ebb and flow, rise and fall. Noticing it when the air comes cooled in through the nostrils. Maybe you feel your belly puff out and the air rises up naturally into the lungs. Your back and sides expand. Your shoulders rise. And then it all collapses as you release, as you let go. Exhaling the air back again through your nose, now warmed. Just breathing. As you breathe in, feel the substance of the in-breath, the strength, as your muscles open up the space that's going to be filled with air. And then as you breathe out, let go. Release that substance. Empty the space. And we're going to bring our attention we're going to bring our attention to the space between breaths. As we breathe in, we hold. A pause. As we breathe out, we hold. A pause. Just noticing those empty spaces between the breaths. Now we're going to do the same thing with thoughts. We're going to notice the empty space between our thoughts. Maybe they're few and far between. We're just going to notice when they occur. Now we're going to begin an exercise. We're going to focus on a space that doesn't currently contain an object or a thought or a sensation or a feeling, but has the potential to contain one. And when a sensation or thought occurs in that space, we're going to give it a name. So when we hear a sound and the sound object becomes something that occupies that space, we're going to simply say to ourselves, sound. And try and let go of the sound. Letting the space become open and spacious again, empty of an object. And soon another object, a thought or a sensation, will make its presence known. When it does, give it a name. Maybe it's just a thought, so just name it a thought. Don't get caught up in it. Let it cause you to tell a story about it, because that just causes the background information to begin to fill the space. If it seems like an impossible task, bring your attention back to the breath for a minute. Just noticing that when you breathe in, you breathe in. When you breathe out, you breathe out. And after you've slowed the mind down, turning back to that open, spacious, and when something occurs in that space, just give it a name. It's like as if you invited somebody to your house They came in through the front door, but you didn't invite them for tea, so they just left out through the back door. Whatever comes into the space, let it pass. You're able to hold the space open even for a few seconds. There's emptiness, openness, spaciousness, objectlessness. Thoughts and sensations come and go and run their course. Just passing breezes. And a broader sensation enters into consciousness. Don't give it an identity and a story. Don't try and find its category. Just take note of it and let it go. Don't be concerned if your mind begins to race. That's what minds do. Just notice the racing. And maybe if you need to, return to the anchor of the breath. Breathing in, feel the cool air entering through your nostrils. Feel your belly puffing out, the air rising up, opening you up. Feel the substance and strength of the in-breath, and then release, letting go as you exhale. And when your mind is calm, bring your attention back to the emptiness, the openness, the space where there is no object. If an object refuses to go, gets stuck, just notice the stuckness of the object, the sensation. Take a deep breath into and through the object and feel it open and disperse. And then exhale it away as you let it go, using the breath as a way of creating emptiness. Thoughts are not facts. This is not an easy practice. It's a way to that not knowing mind, where the realization of small t truths, points of view, personal perspectives, holding on to them too tightly is unskillful and interferes with your spiritual progress. Interpreting our mind's tendency to interpret and impose our points of view. For instance, having a strong belief in a particular shape or form taken by God, or a particular political belief. It's an interpretation imposed by you based on the background, that results in strong feelings and hard emotions. being able to let go, release, breathing in, you breathe in strength, you fill with power, the muscles in our chest open the space for the air. And then we let go as we breathe out. Those muscles relax and release. And we free the substance. We free the power. Set aside the telescope. Knowing that we don't know. Approaching everything as a beginner with openness. With a beginner's mind. This is the way, but it's not an easy way. We're going to bring ourselves back to the moment. Maybe bring some movement back into the body. Stretching. Bringing our hands to prayer. Thank you for practicing meditation, yoga, terms I use interchangeably with me today. Namaste. Well, next Tuesday I think we'll do a Mala workshop. So stop on by.